This football season, Regions doesn't want anything to get between you and the game you love, especially not a lost or stolen card. Lock It lets you lock your card before you even report the problem. Plus, with Lock It, you can use your Regions mobile app to customize your card protection for a little extra game day peace of mind. Because we get it. Some things are bigger than banking. Learn more at regions.com/lockit. Regions, member FDIC, data fees may apply.
Guys, you've heard me talk about Indochino and how made-to-measure suits fit better compared to generic off-the-rack suits. So if you haven't checked them out yet, now's the time, especially when they're available at such great prices. Indochino is North America's leading made-to-measure menswear company. They make suits and shirts to your exact measurements for an incredible fit and comfort. Very easy to get started. Visit a stylist at their showroom and have them take your measurements personally, or measure at home yourself and shop online at Indochino.com. Guys love the option to personalize the details, including your lapel, lining, pockets, buttons, and writing your own monogram. So get your perfect suit and just watch as the compliments roll in. And November is Black Friday season, meaning 2018's lowest prices, up to 70% off everything. Make an entrance at your holiday parties with Indochino. This week, our listeners can get Black Friday pricing by using the code Golic at checkout. That's 70% off the regular price for a made-to-measure suit, plus shipping free. That's Indochino.com, promo code Golic for up to 70% off. Incredible deal for a made-to-measure suit. Once you go custom, you don't go rack.
Golic and Wingo with you, ESPN Radio, ESPN News, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Mike Golic, Trey Wingo here. Make sure to check out the message that you and Junior taped for Stephen A. Smith on our Instagram feed.
Yes, at Golic and Wingo is our Instagram feed. Again, Stephen A. came on the show Friday or Thursday, I believe it was, and talked a little bit about how Syracuse was going to take out Notre Dame. And during the game, he did tweet at the Golic saying we were right, he was wrong, but we still had to get back at him a little bit. So we had a little message for him. Again, at Golic and Wingo on our Instagram page. And Stephen A., by the way, he has responded in kind. I look forward to that.
Yes. By the way, he also left a message for you when you were out of here Friday morning, it was like a 4-minute message that Stans got to cut down. It was as good as Stephen A. has ever been, right, Stans? I mean, he pinned the needle on that one.
Yeah, it didn't really work out, though.
Nope. Yeah, it didn't work out the way he had intended. So we're glad you're with us. Hey, Jeff Saturday is joining us, and we'll get to what Jeff has to share on his thoughts on Week 11 in the NFL in a minute. But, Jeff, we just did a story about a Fartgate, for lack of a better term, in a darts competition.
Fartgate, I like it.
I mean, one guy was complaining he couldn't compete at his best because the smell was so putrid, it shook him up.
Oh, eye-watering.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, well done, sir.
Said it would take 2 days to get that smell out of his nose.
He could taste it.
Exactly. It's like I need to brush my teeth a little bit. So we were wondering, as a center, has that ever happened to you with either Aaron Rodgers or Peyton, and you just look back and say, sorry, dude?
Absolutely. I'm not going to lie and say it wasn't intentional at times either. I mean, if we're going to be real, I mean, there's some intentionality here. I mean, you know what I mean? There's some, listen, hey, here was it.
Now, I have to ask the question now.
Yeah.
Would one of that have been that game on Monday night when you were mic'd up against the Rams? Because if you haven't seen this situation, apparently all week long, Peyton had stressed running in the red zone when they got down there. So they got down against the Rams, and they threw it 3 straight times.
Yes, I remember
and
that.
Saturday took off and went after him or on the sidelines. Was there one that just said, this is for your plan, big boy, right here. Enjoy it.
It was more, here was Manning's thing. Manning, we did silent count a lot, so it would always start with the hip tap. So he would tap my butt or my hip.
Yeah.
And there would be times when he thought it would be funny to really try to smack, you know what I mean? Yeah. Pow! You know what I mean? It freaking hurts, right? Yeah. Cold. Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? And I was like, all right, dude, you got some of this? I got something for you too. And there's some other things that went on that I can't say on the radio, but let's just say there were a lot of gags played both ways, and we had some fun with it. But I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to be. And I actually appreciate the eye-watering, putrid. I mean, hey, listen. Sometimes you got to find a way to win.
Listen,
that's the way to win.
We're talking about people peeing their pants on a football field.
Right.
So to think that a lot of other stuff doesn't happen.
I will say I was always respectful because there's a lot of O-linemen who pee themselves. And I did, because I was a center. If I was a guard, I'd have done it too. But as a center, I felt like it's a stretch. You know what I mean? We didn't want wet ball drill because of that.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you have a silent count, and we may be talking about a silent but deadly.
Yeah,
so we really appreciate that.
Well played.
And that, by the way, is the straightest of straight talk that Jeff Saturday can give us. Brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. I'm sure they're thrilled. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. Okay. Is there anything in your mind, Jeff, that can convince you that the Saints right now aren't the best team in football?
Nothing. Man, they are absolutely balling. I mean, you think about last week, they were nine? They were 9 of 10, but the 10th was the kneel down for the victory.
Right.
You come right back up and follow it with another 40-plus performance. And the tight windows that Breeze is throwing in. And listen, the Eagles try to do everything, doubling everybody, doing all these things. They just have too much on that side of the football. Flip it over, and defensively, they flat out got after Carson Wentz, the Eagles' offense. Frank Reich not being with the Eagles has been the biggest. And I hear people talk about DeFilippo and all.
Yeah.
Frank Reich, I'm telling you, man, can call a football game. And when you have coordinators that you lose, to stay in rhythm of football games, you're seeing it really affect Carson Wentz. And they just don't have it. I mean, and the Saints took full advantage, made them uncomfortable all day. It didn't look like they could do anything right. And that's a decent football team. I know they haven't been playing well. I know they've been injured, all those kind of things. But to get 40-plus that way hung up on you and have nothing to resemble even a breath of offense, man, the Saints are playing good football.
I think for the Eagles side, it shows you more that it's the exception than the rule of being able to win with hurt players.
Right. Absolutely.
Like they did last year, and they thought, oh, look what they did. But they have hurt players again this year, and this is more the norm of how it will affect them.
No, absolutely. And you talk about what their strengths were going to be. I mean, you thought that defensive line was just going to get after, and really they haven't done. They've been picked on in the defensive backfield. I mean, you even see late in the game, Kamara's on a go route. The Saints are basically conceding. You know what I mean? They don't want to try to kick a field goal. They want to punt. It's fourth and seven.
Yeah.
And he throws it to the edge and beats Jenkins. I mean, like, how does that happen? I mean, you have more than what they got, man. They're getting exposed in a bunch of different areas, but no disrespect to them because the Saints are doing that to everybody.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Malcolm Jenkins with the head. Your number one salute to Sean Payton, his former head coach, after that play. Now he apologized afterwards, and it's all
listen,
fine.
Nobody's feelings are hurt after that thing. It's over.
And
right?
Sean Payton admitted, hey, letting him go was probably one of the worst mistakes I've had in my 13 years here. But that defense, man, that's a thing that people do not talk about enough on that New Orleans team in an era where it's hard to play defense.
Absolutely. And here's the thing: when you talk about their front seven, front four, however you want to look at it, defensive line, the ferocity they play with. I mean, they chase balls down. We do tapes on primetime, Trey, where we're talking about Jordan and the way that he retraces his steps to run down screen games or rankings. I mean, you keep going through the way they are playing the game and the tenacity that they are playing it with. That's what separates good from great, is when every play seems like there's mad chaos going in the front seven because you don't know where they're going and they're always hustling. Again, that's the things that turn the corner, and that's why the Saints have looked so good, because everybody on their team has bought in to this style of play.
To the game last night, the Bears beat Minnesota. It was by 5, but it felt like it was more than 5 the way they had controlled that game. Quick stat again, we said this earlier. There's only one Bears coach with a better 10-game start. Matt Nagy is 7-3. The only one who started their career better was George Halas. Was 9-0-1 in his first 10 games. The Chicago Bears at 7-3, Jeff, had the third best record in the NFC right now. Are you buying into them, especially the offensive side and the quarterback?
I am buying in. I will say this. But I'm buying for more than the reasons of the quarterback and Mac. I'm buying because of what Vic Fangio is doing on the other side of the ball. And Khalil Mack deserves Defensive Player of the Year or consideration with Aaron Donald in that conversation, not because of just the pass, but how he's playing both pass and run. But Hicks, a defensive tackle for the Bears last night, put on a clinic, brother. Put on a clinic. And what's happening is you're seeing the way that a player like Mack can affect the areas of the game outside of just what he's doing alone. And it's allowing one-on-one matchups inside, whether it's Floyd coming off the other edge, whether it's Roquan Smith who can get inside and blitz from that Mike back. All of those things happen because of a guy who's dominating and Vic Fangio kind of dialing it up. Then you flip it over. Trubisky last night, to me, the last 2 weeks for him have really shown me, because listen, it takes me a while to buy in on, because he'll do some things that you shake your head at. I mean, he threw some picks last night and you're like, man, like what are you doing? But the consistency that Matt Nagy is asking him to play with, of protect the football, be smart with the football. Again, last night wasn't the best example of it. He can do it. I mean, you can see it's sustainable.
Correct.
Right? And that's the part. It's not I scored 6 touchdowns one week. It's, I can get 2 or 3 a week, or 1 or 2 a week, and hand that thing off to Cohen and Howard if he's playing well. And this is a sustainable thing to happen for a football team. That's why I buy him, is because you can see it could work, from the longevity perspective.
So the other side of that is Khalil. What Hicks did in the middle, again, was incredible. But then
I'm going to do a tape on that, by the way, at prime time. So check him out.
Hicks or Khalil.
Yeah.
Hicks or Khalil.
Hicks.
It was fantastic on the inside. So Khalil on the outside, whether it was a tight end there to make a line wider and hit him, a back chipping him, sliding his way. Who was the one guy that you guys played against the most in your career that you had to actually do the most of chipping, sliding, and whatnot to help?
Man. Grady Jarrett was one. I mean, I'm sorry. Grady Jackson was one when he was in his prime, before he got heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Before he got
heavier.
He was a shifty dude, right? He could make it move. Will Fork was one of those guys on the inside that you didn't want to be matched up. He was a mover. So what happened for us is you want the middle of your pocket to stay solid. So we weren't worried as much about edge guys because of Tarek Glenn, our left tackle, and Ryan Deem, our outside or right tackle. They could run by. So the internal part of our pocket, we always drove home. Albert Haynesworth, though, was the guy. So remember Albert Haynesworth, they still had the carrot out, right? He still had to chase the contract.
Yeah.
This dude was an animal on the inside. And you would literally, whether he lined up head up on the center or on either guard, we were all asking for help. I don't care who it was on the other side. Hey, man. Hey,
didn't you have last say because you're the center?
Oh, absolutely. West, east.
That's job protection.
Right. Bring it in. And then when we went with J.J. Watt, when he came in, because he came in towards the latter part of my career, J.J. Watt, the very first play in pass pro against him, he was on Ryan Deem, who had moved from right tackle to guard, and he throws a chop hump on Ryan Deem, and he literally is on his back, and Ryan Deem was like, he ain't no normal rookie. And I'm going to say there was maybe an expletive in that too. Yeah. I was like, oh my word. But those are the guys that you had to know going in, we have to go get this one guy,
right,
and understand, because for us, if you push the pocket on Manning, it's going to be a bad day and a long day. So those were the guys who listen, you'd stay up late at night for Haynesworth, man. You're thinking, this guy wants to play, because Chester McLaughlin was like that a little bit
when he wanted to play.
That's exactly right. And my coach used to look at me and go, hey man, on the ones he does want to play, just get your butt kicked with dignity, because that's what's going to happen, right? You're not good enough. He's better than you. Just own it, right?
And it seems to look so much worse on the outside when a speed rusher just whoops a tackle or gives him that stab like Mac did last night and just put Reef on his back.
When guys start smacking your hands and their other hand is inside of your shoulder pads,
it's a problem.
It's like a steering wheel, folks. He literally has full control of your body, and he's just going to tilt you, turn you, push you, whatever it is, and you know your feet can't keep up with that momentum. I am going backwards, right? I used to say all the time, I'm just going to grab and hold and hope that the embarrassment and shame I can overcome, because there ain't no way. You're on skates, man. You are literally on skates when a guy gets that kind of position. And they do it every time. I mean, it is. Fangio has got them tuned in to that hand placement. It was a thing of beauty last night.
Fangio, the defensive coordinator for the Bears. Golic and Wingo, presented by Progressive Insurance, protecting commercial vehicles and offering specialized coverages designed to protect your business. More at progressivecommercial.com. Jeff Saturday here with us in studio. So clearly it's coaching that is working for Mitchell Trubisky on the offensive side in Chicago, and for Khalil Mack and Vic Fangio on the defensive side as the defensive coordinator. Jeff, are we at a place where we can say the Dallas Cowboys have embraced the coaching that should work for them, which is give the ball to their best player on offense in Zeke Elliott?
Preach it. They finally
2 games in a row.
And it only took them how many weeks to figure it out? Hey, there's a guy 21 back here who's really, really good, and he makes us all look better. He makes our O-line look better. He makes our quarterback look better. By the way, he makes our defense look better. So let's go ahead and continue to hand it to him or throw it to him or however else we can get him the ball. Find creative ways to make it happen, but you were exactly right. He found it in between the tackles, over 100 yards rushing. Give some credit to the O-line, but listen, he is running behind his pads. If you look at his running style, He is so, and that's why he can jump over and hurdle guys, because as he gets behind those pads, you realize he is going to run you over. So you have to get down and brace for impact. That's when the explosive plays happen, when he jumps over guys. Because listen, when he gets behind it, boys, I don't want any part of it. I'm telling you, I'm making a business decision. I'm going low or taking myself out because he will absolutely truck you.
Yeah. Over in the AFC, who are you buying more? Are you buying the Colts, who haven't given up a sack in 5 weeks, or the Texans, who have rattled off 7 straight wins?
Oh, I'm going Colts here, and here's why I'm going to give you that.
By the way, you're not alone. For people that think he's a homer here because he played most of his career here, a lot of people feel that way. Not taking anything away from the Texans, but the way we're seeing this Colts team built is incredible.
Absolutely. When you, and again, I was there yesterday, but you watch this. Andrew Luck, obviously being protected, no sacks. Yesterday he wasn't even touched.
Yeah,
literally wasn't hit. Yeah, 5 games in a row, no sacks. But Andrew Luck has figured this thing out, man. When his back foot hits the ground on hitch routes on the outside, the ball is gone in the air for 6 or 7 yards before the receiver's coming out of his break. On play actions, no different. And so think back to Peyton Manning in the glory days of that offense. And this is when Frank Reich, this is what he does, right? Is when the back foot hits, he knows where the ball is going. Right. So pre-snap, he understands, and he's got all the touch. He's staying healthy. They're running the ball well, and then flip it over. The maniac on defense is flat out flying around, man. And the front four.
The maniac being the rookie Darius Leonard.
Yes. I'm sorry.
South Carolina State. He's been phenomenal.
Leading tackler in the league.
That's me being a homer, thinking everybody knows who the maniac is. But listen, the kid is playing, but their front four they are playing so much better than I thought they could, and it's showing up. Both offense and defensive line are literally exerting their will on the opponents. And the Titans, man, they beat the brakes off the Patriots last week, and they look like a shell of themselves because of what the Colts did.
They are really a confusing team.
And Mariota went out with an elbow. We'll have to wait and hear what we see with that with
flexing
the MRI.
His hand there. Yeah. Real quickly before we move on from the Colts. Sometimes the worst things turn out to be the best things, right? Because they thought they had Josh McDaniels signed, sealed, and delivered to be their next head coach. And maybe he'll be a great head coach the second time around because he wasn't in Denver. But the fact that he reneged allowed Frank Reich to get there, and they have certainly benefited from Frank Reich being that guy.
There is no doubt. His play style, his play calling. We were there yesterday celebrating Reggie Wayne going in the Ring of Honor. Right. So pregame, we're in the locker room, we're talking, and I told Frank, it feels like home. I mean, this feels like it used to feel when we walked in. There is an air of confidence because of the way the offensive line, they've taken this locker room over. Defensive line, they've taken it over. People are living off of what they can do inside in those trenches, and all the other guys around have bought in. But you can feel that Frank has given them a level of confidence in what they can do. And now flip it over. Think about the Eagles losing Frank and what their offense has looked like. It's a hard deal to replace when you have a guy who can call plays like that. He has done a fantastic job getting the Colts to where they are right now.
Well, what about the game? We're expecting this monster game tonight between the Rams and the Chiefs. Again, move back to L.A. out of Mexico City because of the turf in Mexico City. So where do you even start with this game?
I start with the defense of the Rams. Can Sue, can Donald, can
Brockers.
Fowler, can Brock, can these guys, can they do enough? Because you don't have to hit Mahomes. You got to move them off the spot, right? Because the one thing that they've struggled with is stopping the run. I don't see the Chiefs sitting up there. Andy Reid doesn't want to go run it 45 times. I mean, I love Andy, but let's be honest. Andy ain't the guy who wants to sit back and go 3 yards in a cloud of dust, okay? So at some point, he's going to want to get creative with the jet sweeps and the little rollouts and all that. Can they put enough pressure on Mahomes to get that 2 or 3 drive stop? Because that's really what this game is going to come down to. Can you stop them on 2 or 3 different drives, no point, make them punt, do that kind of thing? Because you see both offenses will match up well, right? So as you're looking at it, those guys to me have been the ones – because they're rushing the quarterback and then trying to stop the run kind of on the way to the quarterback. That's kind of the mentality they have, is can they get to Mahomes consistently? Can Fisher do a decent enough job on Fowler? Can the interior guys from the Chiefs do enough against Donald and Sue that he doesn't get hit and get bumped around a lot?
Again, we'll talk a lot more of that Monday night game when Jason Witten joins us in just a little bit. The other game I want to get to with you is the Jaguars game against the Steelers. Now, look, give the Steelers all the credit in the world. They were down 16-0. They came back away to win.
Stole the game.
Correct. But that sequence of plays, Jeff, where they finally did get Ben Roethlisberger, as you said perfectly, literally rumbling and stumbling into the end zone. They had a timeout. They had a chance. They have James Conner has been so great for them. They're inside the 3-yard line. They're throwing it all over the end zone. I'm like, what are you doing? I'll give them credit. They won the game at 6 straight. But to me, the way they handled that pressure situational football situation at the end gives me concerns about this team still.
Couldn't agree with you more, right? They basically get bought out by a call in the back of the end zone when they held, right? So, do you get that call every time in the NFL? No, you don't. In all honesty, it's a good call, but it's not one in the latter seconds of a game that people usually call. So you get that call, so you get a new fresh set. But if you're looking at, that's a lucky play. I mean, you designed that play. There is nothing about that play that worked. Foster passes, Ngakoue, who he should have trapped, didn't trap because he thinks he's deep enough. That ball is a pick if Roethlisberger throws it away.
Yeah.
I mean, so as you're looking at it, it literally is a busted play that goes in for the touchdown. If Miles Jack gets to him 1 second before, the game's over, and you lose based on a trashy way of calling a game at the end. And again, I'm with you, man. If you got Connor, you believed in this. This offensive line has shown you they can take you to the promised land, and you get down into games, and all of a sudden you're like, we're going to be a pass-happy team inside the 5. You're not going to win football games that way in the NFL. There's too much. There's not enough space and ground on the back end that you can fit it in. Again, they stole it. They won it. That's all you got to do. It's in the W column. Who cares? No points for the way it looks. But at the end of the day, they know they got away with one.
But you're right. Bottom line, NFL, it's all about the W.
So
before we let you go, Pat Mahomes made a little noise last week talking about he puts ketchup on his steak and mac and cheese. Do you put ketchup on either?
Neither. And first of all, it probably is. It should be a sin to put ketchup on a steak.
Speak to it.
I don't know what in the world. That man is confused. I don't know I don't eat a lot of mac and cheese, so I'm not going to get into that world.
It's
I don't
awful,
know.
By the way.
Okay,
I tried it Friday on NFL.
I don't even go there. But I'm telling you right now, dude, you have ruined that steak, man. I'm giving you a hamburger. No steak for you if you're putting ketchup. I would take that thing off your plate at my home and put it on my plate. No steak for you.
Yeah. I wonder if you go into a really fancy restaurant, offer a steak, and then ask for a bottle of ketchup.
They'd say, get out. Get out.
The chef would literally come back. He would take his apron and throw it at your table. Be gone, sir. Yeah. Be gone.
Wow. I said good day, sir. You get nothing. I said good day.
And really quickly, your high school season ended, correct?
It ended. Lost the number 2 seed, 14-7. Man, kids played a heck of a game. I blame myself. Oh, it was brutal, man.
Oh, you're being that head coach, blaming yourself, huh?
I do, man. It broke me. I couldn't sleep Friday night, man. It hurts my soul, man. In the deepest parts of me, I'm so disappointed for my kids. They played as good as they could, man. I love them. They gave it their all.
Taking the blame. Obviously, you're going to resign.
How about that? Instead of pointing the finger,
fire me.
He's pulling the thumb instead of pointing the finger. Good for you.
Absolutely.
All right, Jeff, I'll see you later on this afternoon.
Thanks,
Jeff Saturday with us in studio. All right, coming up, 10 of the 12 games this weekend, not the Saints, have been decided by 5 points or less. Will that hold true tonight in L.A.?
Geico presents eyewitness interviews with inanimate objects.
This is Belinda Collins, live on the scene of a recent lightning storm. Here to describe the event, a TV tray.
I was watching football and holding a plate of meatloaf when kabam! A bolt of lightning slams into the apartment, blowing out the TV and surround sound.
Anything you could have done to help?
Ma'am, I'm a foldable table, not an electrician.
Your TV tray can't help you in a lightning storm, but the Geico Insurance Agency can help you get covered for personal property damage. Go to geico.com to see how affordable renter's insurance can be.
You know about Blink motion-activated security cameras. Amazing technology for detecting anyone sneaking around your home or trying doors, and of course, monitoring holiday package deliveries. Blink is inviting ESPN listeners to score massive savings during its Black Friday Cyber Monday event. Go to blinkprotect.com/radio and sign up for an alert when the sale starts. That's blinkprotect.com/radio. Or hit Amazon.com and search Blink Security. Blink is an Amazon company.
Golic and Wingo with you, ESPN Radio, ESPN News, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Mike, have we mentioned there's a game tonight?
Yes, we have.
Have we mentioned that it's Monday Night Football?
It's a good one.
Have we mentioned that it's the 9-1 Rams versus the 9-1 Chiefs? I don't think we've mentioned that enough.
No, we need to do that more.
We should talk about it more. In fact, we'll talk about it more with Jason Witten, our Monday Night Football analyst, for this Monday Night Football preview, which is brought to you by Ford Transit, built Ford tough. Jason, we'll get to that in a minute, and believe me, I am giddy with anticipation about what to see in this game. But I have to ask you about your old team. Have the Dallas Cowboys figured it out that their best way to win is to give Zeke the ball as often as possible?
Yeah, they have figured that out. Look, 2 weeks ago, we called the Titans game down there, and they lost. They were 3-5. Coach was getting fired. The program, people were calling for just a complete reboot of the entire organization. Now they're back in it, have an opportunity on Thursday to really kind of get control of that division. So give it to Zeke in the running game, give it to him in the passing game, give it to him in short yardage, long yardage, as much as you can. He's carrying this football team, playing at a high level.
Well, I think in tonight's game, as we move to that, there are more than a few players on each team that could step up and do it. What are the main things you are looking for in this game that could be the difference?
Well, I think it's going to be an absolute shootout. If they do fireworks, they better bring in some backup because there'll be a lot of fireworks going off. I think these guys are going to score points. The biggest thing I look at, though, for both teams, over 5 yards per carry giving up in the rush. So you got to stop the running game. And for the Rams, they're going to feed it to Gurley. They really are a run-first offense. Get it to Todd, and then the play action comes off of that. So Kansas City's going to have to stop it. And on the other side, same goes for the Rams. They gave up 275 yards rushing against the Seahawks a week ago. So as much as Andy Reid wants to run the gimmick offense and the RPOs and Patrick Mahomes and stretching it down the field, Kareem Hunt's his best friend, handing it off to him.
Jason Witten with us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line on camera, talking to us about the Monday Night Football game. Jason, why do you think that has been the case for the Rams? Because Wade Phillips is a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator. You know him well from the time he was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He engineered and architected that Super Bowl 50 defense for the Denver Broncos. Why do you think the Rams have had such struggle stopping the run?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, those guys are everything they do up front is predicated on getting penetration. And that's great. And it's putting pressure on the quarterbacks, but it's creating lanes for them. And then linebackers, they don't have that guy really. Mark Barron was a former safety and he's done a good job, but they don't have that guy that can kind of go sideline to sideline and can clean it up. The Sean Lees, the Luke Kuechly's, those type of players. Littleton is good in the passing game. He hasn't been that consistent in the running game. So I just feel like when you look at him as a whole, that's how teams are attacking. And a big reason why is because they know they can't block Aaron Donald in the passing game. So running right at him is why they're attacking Wade Phillips.
What's Pat Mahomes' biggest asset?
Well, I think it starts with he has that playmaking ability within his vision of the football field. You either have it or you don't. A lot of that vision you can't teach. He has incredible anticipation of knowing when to get outside the pocket, extending plays, buying time to throw it down the field. I think it starts there, but one thing I think a lot of us aren't giving him credit for is just how he's manipulating coverage. He's anticipating throws, he sees the coverage, and he looks off one way or the other with his eyes, with his body lean, with his shoulders. Young players that are still kind of 11, 12 games into their career, they usually don't do those things. And so on top of that, he can flick it in a wrist, he can throw it really far. All those things go hand in hand, but I think it's his competitive mindset, his vision, and how he's manipulating coverage to put the ball where he wants to go.
Jason Witten with us. Before we move on from this game, we need to get your take on the most important topic of the day for the last few days for Patrick Mahomes. Where are you on ketchup on macaroni and cheese?
Yeah, I shared with him yesterday. We were in a production meeting, and I said, I'm a big fan of your game. I'm a big fan of how you go about it, but the ketchup on the mac and cheese is just a no-go for me.
There you go.
Just absolute no-go.
I always knew I loved Jason Witten for a reason.
Disgusting.
At this point, Jason, do you think either one of these teams playing tonight is better than New Orleans?
No, I really don't. I think New Orleans, just like I was saying, I think all of these offenses can go win it on any given night. They're the top three offenses in the league. The difference for me is defensively, when you look at the Saints, and they're not great either on defense, but they do stop the run. And I think Kansas City now, getting Justin Houston back, D Ford coming off that edge, they got to be able to go in there and play some good defense and stop the run. If they can make a run in the AFC. Certainly the Rams are going to be in that hunt. But as we stand right now, I think the Saints are the leader in the clubhouse. I mean, how explosive that offense is, the aggressive mindset, but they are stopping the run. But, all of these defenses, it seems like the mindset's kind of, for these defenses, like, we just have to hold them to one less point. And, I get it. All that matters is that you want to win, but I want to see some good football on the defensive side of the ball. And, I think that's, as you get into December, January, defensive football is going to help you win games, turnovers, and getting big stops, no question.
Jason Witten with us, giving us our Monday Night Football preview and talking about everything else in Week 11 of the NFL. What did you make of what we saw out of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Pittsburgh Steelers? Because that game was theirs to win, Jacksonville. They couldn't make one or two plays on offense to win it. And then the Steelers, I'll give them all the credit in the world for pulling one out and getting that touchdown at the end. But it sure seemed like that was a very disjointed effort on that game-winning drive where they eventually stumbled into the end zone with that Ben Roethlisberger leap.
Yeah, it was very disjointed. Start with the Jaguars. I really didn't like some of the play calling down the stretch. With Blake Bortles, with what they were trying to do, I felt like it was very predictable. And they had a chance to really kind of close that game off down towards the end. And with Pittsburgh, just typical Ben Roethlisberger fashion. I mean, some turnovers early. Looked like they were all in disarray. And to be able to come back the way he did. And again, they had some questionable play calls at some of those points and then finally run it in. So, Jacksonville, it just seems like it's one of those years for them. They can't get it right at critical times. And on the other end, Pittsburgh's sitting there and, just quietly put themselves in a really good situation as they get towards Thanksgiving.
Jason, the Chicago Bears win last night over Minnesota. They're 7-3, third best record in the NFC. How much you buy into that team?
Look, I'm buying a lot into them right now. I mean, 3 weeks ago, I was just kind of waiting like everybody else. Like, all right, I'm not sold on Trubisky. I'm not sold on this offense, but these guys are good. I mean, that's a tough division. Start with Matt Nagy, what he's done with this program. I mean, that's the perfect offense for Mitch Trubisky. Getting him and allow him to do a lot of that gimmick stuff. And then his athletic ability. He can run around and get first downs. And he's got a good clock in his head. He knows when, all right, I don't really have anything there. I'm going to take off and run. So he's using his legs well. And the reason why I say they're a real contender is that defense is legit. They're good on the back end. Vic Fangio is an exceptional play caller, has been for a long time. And of course, Khalil Mack, he can help things out on the defensive side of the ball as well.
Yeah. He can help a little bit. There's no question about that. All right, listen, we look forward to a great Monday night game. Enjoy this one, my friend. It should be special.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Have a great week.
Jason.
All right, Jason. Happy Thanksgiving, Jason. We'll talk to you next week. Jason Witten with us. Look, you just hope this one lives up to it, right? More than
you do.
Else.
The build-up is there. Everybody wants a shootout.
Final score 9-6.
I know. Watch both defenses step up, you know?
That would, on one sense, that would be cool.
I would love to see it. Let me tell you that right now.
On the other sense, give me a 45-35. I'll take that one and we'll figure it out from there. All right, coming up, as I've said a million times,
I want winners. I want people that want to win.
I want winners on this show. So next up, we'll tell you who won the weekend.
Hey, Molly Karam here, host of ESPN's First Take, and I am super excited because football is back, and you know where you'll find me this fall, at the game, thanks to Vivid Seats, the official ticket partner of ESPN. With the Vivid Seats app, it's so easy to find awesome seats to any game, and every purchase is backed by their 100% buyer guarantee. Head to vividseats.com and enter promo code ESPN at checkout to get 10% off your first order. Get in the action with Vivid Seats. Your team needs you.
Guaranteeing promotional terms available on vividseats.com.
All right, it's Ian Book, not Ian Book. Hey, Rick, it's Book. And I know your name is Rob. I did it on purpose.
There's a lot of names we all have to remember.
That's true.
And that is beneath us to criticize someone for something like
it's so not beneath us.
It's Golic and Wingo.
Who won the weekend?
Golic and Wingo brought to you by Dell. Dell's Black Friday sale for small business is on. Save up to 50% on computers with 8th Gen Intel Core processors. Dell Small Business Advisors can help you find the right tech at Black Friday prices. Visit Dell.com/SB Black Friday or call 877-BUY-DELL.
All right, Golic and Wingo here with you. We do Who Won the Weekend here. By the way, today is the 40th anniversary, Mike, of the Miracle at the Meadowlands.
How about that?
So 40 years ago, our guy...
You play to win the game.
Herm Edwards won the weekend. So congratulations to Herm. We'll see what happens with Arizona State going forward.
And it was so wild yesterday when Alex Smith broke his leg.
Crazy.
It was the 33rd year to the day that Joe Theismann had his leg broken on that play when Lawrence Taylor landed on. Joe Theismann was at the game yesterday as well. That's freaky.
And
there.
tweeted out, Alex's leg looked like mine did 33 years ago. So again,
such a shame.
Alex is done for the season. Hopefully, everything will go right with the surgery, and we'll see where he is going forward. But the big game tonight, before we get into who won the weekend, is the Monday night game. It is the Chiefs and the Rams. As you might imagine, we're all saying hammer the over for this game, where you are allowed to do so.
Oh, of course.
And Doug Kazarian, our ESPN gambling analyst, weighing in on what the line is on the Rams and the Chiefs game.
You often hear that home field advantage is worth 3 points to the spread, but that's not the case. Odds making is so much more nuanced than just simple math. The biggest factor is what the line is. In this case, the Rams were 2.5-point favorites in Mexico City. The game moved to L.A., and the line moved, but just to 3.5. 3 is the most valuable number in football betting because it's the most common margin of victory. So going through the number of 3 is huge. Plus, L.A. does not exactly have a significant home field advantage like Arrowhead, so that's a factor as well. So yes, technically the line moved just 1 point, but it's not like it moved from 5 to 6, which is considered sort of a dead area. This 1 point matters a lot.
Okay, so I'm curious, you think it matters a lot for the Rams or the Chiefs? Right? Where are we?
I didn't follow that. Then again, I'm not a gambling man to know.
So, but Doug, let us some more clarification. Yeah, figure that out a little bit. Now let's get back to.
I want winners. I want people that want to win.
All right. So who won the weekend? Lots of candidates.
Yeah.
The Saints, largest blowout of a Super Bowl champion ever, 41 points, their 9th straight win. The Bears, their first 4-game winning streak since 2012-2013. How about Andrew Luck? 5 straight games without a sack. I'm going to throw this one in there too, Mike. Joey Logano drove the 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford to victory lane in Miami on Sunday and won his first career NASCAR Monster Series Cup championship. Logano took the lead from Martin Truex Jr. with 12 laps remaining for his second win in the final 4 races of the season. Had that somewhat controversial
little
win. Little dust up, little trading paint to get in there, and it paid off, and he won the whole damn thing.
Yep, good for him.
Absolutely.
Congratulations to him. We also have the Cowboys, won back-to-back games, first time all season. LeBron, 12 50-point game in his career. Jimmy Butler blocked Kemba Walker and then hit a game-winning 3 in overtime.
What a sequence that was.
That's a game Kemba Walker had about 147 points. Army, this is awesome. Ranked for the first time since 1996. Of course, UCF blew out Cincinnati, extended their win streak to 23 games. And again, I'll say it. I wish we had a system where they could get in and at least be on the field in this tournament at the end, but unfortunately it's not going to happen now. And then, of course, Notre Dame crushing Syracuse 36-3 on Yankee Stadium. I did feel bad for Eric Dungy, the quarterback, who we talked a lot about, this tough kid, and went out with a back injury. That I still don't think it would have helped them. I think Notre Dame was still winning that game, but it's a shame. These kids want to compete, man. They want to compete in these big games, and this kid's about as tough as they come, and it was a shame that he couldn't finish out this game as well. So I think you may know where I'm going.
I think I like a big piece of this.
Yeah, I'm going to give a little bit of love to the Fighting Irish for this big win, because all the smack talk aside that he did last week, this was a game that kind of worried me because of the way Syracuse had shown they could score. And listen, Notre Dame played great ball, defensive side holding, and Syracuse caught a little bit of grief for last seconds kicking that field goal just so they didn't get shut out, just got 3 points on the board. Either way, the defense played well. Ian Book, another big game for him. Notre Dame had a monster game. They were in this position back in 2012 when my kids were on the team where they went to USC undefeated. Back then it was 1-2. It wasn't this, but they were number 1, and if they won, they were in. It was guaranteed. They weren't losing that game, and Notre Dame is not losing. USC is just down this year. They're going to lose their coach probably at the end of the year. They're down this year. They just lost to UCLA as well. Notre Dame's going to handle their business out there, and they're going to be one of the first teams in the playoffs because they're not in the conference. They'll have to play in the championship games next week. So I'm picking Notre Dame. And let me just say, I'm going to go at it on Twitter. I'm going to have a ball with it. And anybody who the only thing you're bringing in me is, well, they'll have to play Alabama again. Remember what happened last time? Yeah. And it may happen again.
Right.
And it may not. It's all different players. The whole thing is different. If that's all you got, man, that's some weak sauce.
Okay.
Bring a little more, okay?
So you've got Notre Dame as winning the weekend.
You go ahead.
I'm going to go with the Saints. I mean, they clearly just demonstrated to everybody we are the best team in football because we are a complete football team. Actually, that's not entirely true. They rarely punt, so we don't know how really good their punting game is. But because they don't punt very often, that's why they're the best team in football. Offense and defense, they have balance. Who do you like real quickly tonight?
Chiefs, they have Pat Mahomes, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever.
I'm taking the Rams because Patrick Mahomes puts ketchup on macaroni and cheese. Enjoy the game.
And now, a thought from Geico Motorcycle.
It took 15 minutes to purchase the gas station egg salad. Eat the gas station egg salad.